The Bakenkop Pass is named after the prominent mountain near its western extremity, which is easily identifiable whilst driving the pass itself from the host of radio towers on its summit. The route forms part of one of the original trails which bisect the lower section of the Drakensberg escarpment and is located just to the southeast of Sabi, running in a generally west-east configuration towards Kippersol and Hazy View. The gravel road is extremely rough and rutted, and we strongly recommend the use of a high-clearance vehicle or a 4x4 during or after wet weather. This is logging country, and the road traverses both pine and eucalyptus plantations for its entire length, also offering up some wonderful views of the Lowveld. We filmed this pass from west to east in the descending mode. The start of the pass is located in the midst of a stand of tall pine trees, with the towers marking the summit of Bakenkop visible directly in front of you. The descent is quite gentle at first, as it winds its way down through the plantations, with the road twisting and turning to follow a natural contour line. The condition of the road surface is fairly good through this initial section, but you need to be on the lookout for logging vehicles. There are a multitude of stories about the wild and tough men that pioneered the settlements all over the Lowveld. Perhaps the most famous of these was Sir James Percy Fitzpatrick, who was a politician, mining financier, pioneer of the fruit industry, and of course he was the author of the best-selling book Jock of the Bushveld. Two of the other men who also made an indelible mark on this part of the country were Paul Perry and Harry Voluter, whose fortunes were to be inexorably linked for most of their lives. Eugene Pierre Perry, otherwise known as Paul, was born in Canada of French parentage. He ran away from home to join the American Navy, but after 2 years he jumped ship in Cape Town and started doing odd jobs all over the country. Whilst working as a builder in Bloemfontein, he dropped a brick onto a woman's head from a scaffold, but he hadn't killed her as it happened, but he thought he had, and so he left town in a hurry, which was probably a good idea at the time. He went to work constructing bridges on the Delagoa Bay Pretoria Railway, but after losing money heavily on a contract, he started recruiting mine labour. As he didn't have a license to do this, he was arrested for these activities in Portuguese East Africa, now Mozambique, and spent a month in jail there. After his release, he returned to the Transvaal, but got into an argument with a local called Long One and shot him in the knee with a revolver, whereupon he had to take refuge over the border once again until the commotion had died down. Perry then enlisted in the famous Steinacker's Horse Regiment a few months after the start of the Second Anglo-Boer War, which was where he first met up with Harry Voluter. He accompanied Voluter on many patrols and became one of his most trusted troopers. He was described as a useful man to have around when stubborn donkeys refused to move, and legend has it that he used to light a match under their tails. When Voluter was stricken with blackwater fever, Perry is credited with saving his life by caring for him through his ordeal. Of all the men in the regiment that were diagnosed with the disease at this time, Voluter was the only one to survive. In August 1903, an incident occurred which was to make Harry Voluter a legend in his own lifetime and forevermore thereafter. He was riding along on horseback on what is today known as the Landanda Road when two lions attacked him shortly after nightfall. Toppled from his horse, one of the lions seized him by the shoulder and dragged him off into the bush. Despite being in extreme pain, the semi-conscious ranger managed to retrieve his sheath knife from its holster and stabbed the lion 3 times. The mortally wounded lion dropped him, and he managed to climb into a tree before the second lion, which had been chasing after his horse, came after him. He was saved by his dog named Bull, whose persistent barking distracted the second lion. Voluter's knife and the skin of the lion that he had killed are on display in the Stevenson Hamilton Library at Skukuza. At the 4.7 kilometer point, a small hairpin bend is traversed, and then the road straightens out for 200 meters to reach the end of the pass. Continue straight onwards for another 13.2 kilometers to reach the tarred R40.